Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. We are joined with Kerry Dowding. What is up, Kerry? Long time no talk.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, man, excited to talk to you. You come across my mind the other day, and then I was looking through some old videos and saw that, I think it was February, that last time you came on. I'm like, man, I need to see if he's up to anything.
Yeah, man. It was February. I remember talking right when I was just getting started for the spring, and kicking off that community out there. Yeah, man, it's been a good year. So we're coming up on a year almost.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to mention right at the top here about, for those who don't know, that over at the International Mandela Effect Conference YouTube channel, we're starting a new show over there. And the first one, that we're kicking it off this Wednesday, February 3rd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I will send out another notification about that, but I didn't want you to be aware of it. So you can head on over there and subscribe to that channel if you're not already. It's going to be Cynthia Sue Larson, Christopher Anatra, Dark Wolf, and myself, and we're going to be discussing the Mandela Effect on HBO and other topics relating to some of the golden timeline changes. And that's really season 1, episode 1 is the golden timeline, is the title of the first IMEC Open Table. So I hope you guys can join us there. So let me get that out of the way, because some people tune in and then they're like, they just, I don't know, get distracted. It happens to me all the time too. So I wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
So Kerry, now for those who don't know, Kerry's my buddy. We met in Sedona in 2018, and then we got to go up to Niagara Falls. We got videos on all of this. You guys can search back and see that. And then, of course, again, New Year's. We kicked off New Year's Eve of, was that 2019? We kicked off 2019 together in Austin, Texas. That was fun. So, yeah, you've been out working with like veterans, creating homes and things like that. Just kind of wanted to update people on what you were doing, because now you're expanding that, right?
Are you talking about like the community I was just talking to you before the show?
Right. The community. Yeah, because you were on last time you spoke of a community that you were working with, but now I kind of wanted people to, get caught up on where you've been from the last time that remember you talking about that.
Sure. So after we talked that last time, we kicked it into high gear and really experienced one of the coolest community experiences I've ever had. That February, nobody was really there. It was just me and another guy, but he wasn't a veteran or anything. And I was setting intentions, man. We had a selenite grid out there, and I was setting intentions, putting out the light, calling in all the souls I could. And, man, they just started showing up, dude. And you're talking like-minded individuals, people searching for healing. As soon as you would come out there, we had on certain days up to like 30 or 40 volunteers out there, and we're all just doing something. We were feeding everybody. We had drum circles, ecstatic dance parties. Dude, it was incredible. It was really something watching people just come together. And the craziest thing is, as we were doing all this work, and it's all volunteering, you would just be digging a hole with a pickaxe or something, and then you just hear somebody, like a good friend of mine, Kenny, you'd hear him and just yelling, "It's happening!" And we would all know what that means, because we were all on this. We knew about New Earth, and we knew about something that we're trying to shift into some kind of new energy. So we felt we were building it. It was really strongly, and you'd have these incredible moments. So 14 months there, and then now it was time to kind of expand out, and other communities, people started buying land. They heard about us. They want us to help get their land and their community going too. So the next, I have 2 communities on my schedule now. One's to help a Native American tribe that will end up building a sun dance and adobe sweat lodges and ceremony lodges and stuff like that. And then there's another one that she's inherited her land from her grandmother, or she's going to be buying it and really wants to put forth permaculture, self-sustainable living, water catchment, you name it, solar. So, I got my name out there and I'm pushing that. So I know where I'm supposed to be, and where I am right here, for some reason, it's the calling of building communities, because I know there's really a beautiful way what happens when you can really hit that harmony as a community. It can happen. We experience a collective conscience like you wouldn't believe. We were all picking up on each other's moves, what we needed, thoughts. It felt a little telepathic on soft. You wouldn't know it, but you would have moments of just really incredible collectiveness. And
I get it, man.
So
I totally get
it.
It's been amping up too. Has it been amping up even more recently for you guys?
Oh my God! Like even now, I'm not kidding you. You could tell like there's like a lot of things that are becoming more obvious. Instead of it not being so just out of nowhere, you're starting to catch it, because as soon as something happens where there's be a thought and then somebody calls you, or that person, you're thinking of that person, and boom, they text you. I have that happen all the times. Or you're both thinking the same thing, and you nobody's saying anything, and then you say something like, "Hey, let's go for a run," and they're like, "Hey, I was just thinking that."
Right.
It's just really.
I love that, man.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's totally picking up for me too, and it's amazing the way that happens. And we even, when I texted you earlier, you're like, "Man, I was just thinking about you a few days ago," and I was like, "I was thinking about you a few days ago." I wonder if it was that same moment, just whatever happened that jarred my memory. And then again today, when I saw that thumbnail, I was like, "Oh, I need to talk to Kerry and see what he's up to." And I was like, "Oh, let me just send him a quick text or whatever." So, yeah, man, we're all connected, and I think the more we're in the now moment. And that's what that's like. It's happening. That's what that is, isn't it? It's like, hey, come back to the now moment. This is happening right now. You know what I mean? I love it.
Sam, it was you would. I mean, you're talking 100-degree weather in the high desert, high altitude desert in Taos, but we're crushing it, hitting this thick caliche dirt and digging holes, and it's crazy how. I was actually in a moment where I was digging this huge hole because we're getting ready to pour concrete, and my heart was opening up so much. And a friend of mine, he calls himself Agape. We were just like, "Oh my God, do you feel that?" And it was, I can't describe it, but I knew at that point there was like this really incredible wave of hope of what unified consciousness could feel like and be like across the planet. So it was quite something for me.
Absolutely. And it is like that, man. I mean, even the first time we met, we were driving out to Sedona following each other, and we must have talked for about an hour before we even hit the road, and then another hour like halfway through, just because it's so good to be able to talk to somebody that gets it. And I don't know, man, it's just a completely different experience. And I find it's getting even more difficult for people to sort of be able to find that meeting place. And you have to, people seem to not understand you with simple things. And I don't know, man, there's a divide happening, it seems.
Well, that's the part. Like, this is what I come to know this too, Shane. And I did. I was having that whole inner battle of trying to figure out what's right, what's wrong. There's nothing right or wrong. It's all choice. You're constantly seeing like there's something that's happening, and you're making what's happening outside your world more about it has more percentage over you focusing on your inner world sometimes, and it can get distracting. And when that happens, the separation, it doesn't really exist, because if you can just accept it all as, hey, it is what it is, man. Right. And you just keep doing you. You cannot have this feeling of what that separation feeling. But I know what you're talking about. I had to stick through it, because we'd have some people that were in the community that were like that was like, "Oh my God, are you seeing what's happening out there? Oh my God, you got to start stockpiling food, and oh my God, you got to invest, and oh my God," and you're just like, whoa, man. I'm like, everything everything is okay. Like, what are you talking about? It's not happening right here. And if it happens, if it comes to your front door, then you deal with it then, kind of thing. So,
I'm right with you with that, man, because other than that, it's all a distraction. I mean, even if you look at just this last year, I think the whole 2020 vision thing that we discussed was, about showing the hypocrisy that we're seeing, and to reveal that so much of this is a lie, and that you really need to go within to find that peace, and that you shouldn't really be waiting for stuff in the external to happen, because how many times do we get duped by the dates? You know what I mean? Like, we just kind of set ourselves up for disaster, and that kind of, like, I don't know, pulls us out of the now moment, because life is like a dance, and it's like, you're not trying to get to that final pose. You're really trying to enjoy this now moment of the dance. And that's what I love so much about what you're saying. It's happening because it can be 100 degrees and you're out there building this, but you're none of that's dependent on your happiness, that external world, your environment, you're torched in the sun or whatever, and it still can't dampen that joy that you have. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know.
You're living
it,
right?
There's just there's no point, man. There's no, well, for me, but I mean, for some people it may be important, and I get that, and I appreciate those people too. That if that world is very much a part of you, just know that kind of stuff is just not suiting your highest timeline. It's not suiting it could be turned into fuel to rocket you off to something way incredible inside yourself. But if you just play with mastering your own mind and your own world the best way you can during all this, you end up turning the tables to where the world's working for you. And
that's exactly right. Yeah, it becomes a tool or a catalyst, or where it can be a catalyst to awaken some that might not know the things, and then you see it and you're like, I've known this for a while, and why is it getting so bad? It's like, well, it's getting so bad, so those that didn't notice it when it was more subtle can now notice it, because it's so blatantly obvious, some of these things that you can begin to see with the 2020 vision becoming clear. So for those who already kind of realized the deception that was there, to still focus on that, it's just a distraction at that point, because we know that we're creating, that creation comes from within, that joy and that peace, and the answers are all within, and I think that's, it's been a great tool for me to break away from what I see out there and to realize I never trusted that anyway. This is really just helping me go within and trust, what my intuition's telling me more than ever. So I look at this as a good thing, even though it seems like things are dragging on and on. Are we really ready? We still got people stuck in the I told you so type mentality. It's like there's so much we can grow and do in this now moment to bring about this beautiful new world that we want in this now moment,
Yeah, that's right, man. And I think that's why I'm out here. It took me a while to figure out, but when shit started happening a few years back, when I lived on the other side of the mountains and my heart chakra was blasting and all this other stuff was happening, I was having contact with starships and my galactic family, like all this shit that started happening to me, and then moving out to where I am now, seeing what I'm becoming a part of and putting my hands in the dirt. Like after this year, I'll have I've worked on or helped 5 communities out here. And it's an incredible thing. And I think what I've come to know about all of that, people are still out there and they're still hungry to figure out who they are. Mm-hmm. And when you break away from the shit that's going on out there and you actually just say, shit, I'm going to set a goal to get to know who I am and to know what that actually means. And that may mean you have to actually go in and clean out your fucking closet. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. You'll go through crazy stuff, but that's the focus. And if that's the only thing that matters, man. Like, if you think about it, because it's the only thing that's going to bring you happiness. So everybody out here, they're trying to push in these communities. They don't want to wear masks. And I hear in Oklahoma, it's not that really of a big deal. Mm-hmm. And really it is what it is. But through this time, if you let that control you, that's just what it's going to be. It's going to be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why people travel. Like, why not? I think there's not going to be any bans before you know it. COVID will be lifted. Economy will probably be just doing its thing again for a little bit. People are going to make good money on Bitcoin and on other investments. And then something might happen again. But, you just got to keep just playing along with it, yeah.
Yeah. So how many acres are you looking at out there?
Wait, say that again?
How many acres? Like you've worked on 3 different sites. How many acres are each of them?
Well, okay, so one of them was 50. Another was, I think, 10 acres. And the other one was about a 2-acre lot. And now I'm upgrading into 116 acres. And then this other one that I believe is 10 acres.
Wow.
But that 116 is going to be crazy because we're going to be a part of building it. Their beliefs are they don't own the land. They're natives of the land. They are here with the mother planet. Mm-hmm. And that you can't own land. They don't believe in owning land. And a part of their belief is you just, as long as you're like self-governed, self-independent, and self-sustained, you could be a part of that. And if you're out there building the land in the community, they want you to build your own home there, and you can have a part of the land type of stuff. It's quite something, man. It is quite something.
What's the terrain like out there? Is it all deserty or?
No. I mean, it's not. Okay, so basically, you have the mountains, which you have. There's green, there's trees, the Taos Mountain and Wheeler Peak and everything.
Right, because there's some snow resorts or ski resorts out near there in the wintertime, right?
Yeah. You got Taos Ski Valley for sure.
Right.
That's a big one. So. There's Angel Fire and Red River are just right up the road. So we're right in that little enchanted circle area. So anyhow, the terrain where most of these people are building these things is what you call the mesa. And the mesa has basically sagebrush everywhere. It's just sage. Sage is all over the place. Now, apparently it's just remnants of overgrazed land from years and years ago, and this is what comes up and grows. So you got it in some areas, there's a lot of lava rock, and some it's not. Some it's sandy, some it's not. And then most of it's what's called caliche, which is the mixture of like clay and sand. So, I mean, it's fun. If you get a place where there's no rocks, man, it's you can dig all day long. You can fill bags up and stack bags to build a home. It's simple. But if you're in a place where there's a bunch of rocks, where I was for the past 14 months, one hole could take you like 3 hours, man. Just a simple 2-foot by 2-foot hole. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to put in satellites, so I know I know the different layers that you can come to. That's crazy. So yeah, we'd have this. I had this really heavy, I guess 3-inch round pole that I had ground to a point that I just have to put holes in there. But really, you need machinery to do that, right?
Yeah, I get you. So what's been new with you, man? I haven't heard from you in a year. So
I had my coolest sighting ever, man. It was okay. So I've been like out watching, what looked like satellites kind of going across the sky. I'm like, come on, let's get a power up. I got my laser out there and, trying to get some kind of interaction with them and stuff. Kind of under my breath, I'm like, I'm just going to call you a satellite if I'm not getting the power up. And then like right after that, man, I got 5 big power-ups from this one that was going across the sky, like boom, boom, boom. And I got lucky. I had started my my camera taking a picture, like where it leaves the shutter open for 10 seconds. But I was so blown away by what I was seeing that I forgot that I'd actually started the shutter. So I almost captured the whole thing. Well, the whole thing lasted about 13 seconds. So I captured almost the whole thing within the 10 seconds of the shutter being open. So this is what it looked like when I went back and looked at the image. It looked like a regular power-up. The next one that still looked sort of like a power-up when it was happening actually looked like a tic-tac shaped object. It didn't look like a light. It looked like an actual object, followed by 2 more power-ups, where it just looks like it just got brighter, And so yeah, it's got a shape to it. It's got, actual volume to it. I feel like they like flashed their ship for a moment, you know what I mean? And it's just enough that the camera picked it up.
Yeah, they're giving you a nice little wink, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So you've talked about this for a while, and you get this all the time out there, man. But when I captured that, and I had something to bring back and show people, because usually if something cool happens, I don't have my camera around, And then you begin to doubt it yourself. You're like, did it really turn? And you start, because you want to be objective about it, But it's hard to believe stuff if you don't have a picture to look at, And I finally got one.
Well,
so, yeah, it was cool.
I get it. Hey, let me just share a little advice when if you're being objective. Yeah, does it feel like that's a natural thing to do? It is, but I think at some point, if you can overcome that objectifying, if what happened, and if you don't have the proof that it didn't happen, just play with the experience itself and don't objectify it. Like I even have moments where if I'm just going out there and my thoughts are already out in the stars and just already visualizing it, and something comes over, and maybe it's a satellite, and I really don't know. But if in that moment that was my intention, I own it. Hey, that's got to be you. Hey, and I'm just owning the whole thing without really kind of going too deep, because it kind of amplifies and brings that in, because I'm pretty sure it's them no matter what you see.
Okay, so I got to ask you about this, because I'm sure. Sorry, there's a delay here too, so if I stomp on you a little bit, I apologize. It's like a 2-second delay.
Yeah.
I got
right on me there. Thanks, Shane. You're a great host. No,
so I want to ask you, as well as those that are listening live right now. So this happens quite a bit, right? So I go out. I'm the type of person that's always looking at the sky, right? So I go out, my eyes haven't quite adjusted very well, it takes a few minutes or whatever, but the moment I look at the sky, almost right where I look, I get like a star will flash at me. And then I'm like, did I really just see that? And then it happened, then I'll forget about it. And then the next night I'll go out, I'll look up, and bam, another star right where I'm looking flashes. Like they're just waiting. You know what I mean?
They're ahead of the game, my friend.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that stuff happens to me too. Like I would go out, and because I was in my fifth wheel, so I was camping. It was in the summer, and I would just be going out to go brush my teeth under the stars, and boom, they just flash. I'm like, hey, come on,
Right.
It's just they are with you. They're with you, and they're trying to just get ahead, and that's how I think they play with you. Like they're like, oh, we were waiting for you to come outside 20 minutes ago,
Yeah.
And it's fun, because what's really cool about that, it's almost like if they're knocking at your door, asking you to come play with them.
Right.
You follow, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was almost like, me
feeling.
teasing them, egging them on a little bit. It's what made them actually put on the spectacle for me,
That's what I'm saying. Make it become your new norm.
Yeah.
Like that's just you, man. That's just family. That's nothing big. They're just they're holding down the fort just like we are too. So we're doing our best. They're doing theirs.
It's picking up though, man. I think they ease into it. While I want it like a big UFO to land on the yard, I guess this easing into it thing is probably the best way to go. But I'm just glad it's beyond any question in my mind at this point. So once you do get over that hump, it does make it much easier to, believe, if you will. You're like, yeah, it probably was. Maybe it's not, but I know they're out there, So it's not even like it doesn't even matter anymore at that point, because
Right. To see, and I would have the same thing too. So like I remember, because I was having so much contact experience. Like it's like, man, I wish y'all can come down here. Like, but I get it. It's not time. But then as I was starting to learn about Dolores Cannon, and the stuff they talk about, kind of like it's like cosmic law or universal law or something. Like they can't effectively or I don't know, by law, just come down from out and intervene from coming down and saying, hey, you guys are blah, 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 you're awakened beings or whatever. So they had to come from the inside. So the soul's incarnated into human life, and then we're working and connecting those, that we're making those connections solid again. That's why it starts to feel so normal. So to add into that, once you hit it seems like with a lot of things, you can hit glass ceilings, right? So at some point, you've got to either ramp up your game, change something about what you're doing, how deep you want to go with who you're making contact with, because they're saying, come on, come up here, we can help, and it's fun, and you can learn all kinds of cool stuff, but how is it that we do that? And to bring them into your daily life is turning it up a notch. So try to learn about it, get to know. I mean, yeah, we heard of Pleiadians and Arcturians, but really dive into what that means. Like, if you have some kind of feeling that you have a bloodline to that, or some kind of connection to the stars, ask for your ancestors to help you see and invite them in and give you permission with the highest of good. And your whole world will start changing and things will start happening throughout your dreams. And then you start having, it's almost like they're really literally a part of your life, because you can feel them. You'll see your sparkles, your guides, your synchros, but then you're also having messages in dreams. Then you're going out and seeing in the stars, boom, there they are. Ha! They were always there. And it's just a whole new way of playing the game.
Absolutely. And it's fun, man. It's been so fun to have all this. I mean, life has just become so magical over the last few years, probably ever since, coming out of the dark night of the soul and then realizing the Mandela Effect was happening, and just, you can't help but, well, once you get over that initial fear, I know people freak out. They see realities changing in a seemingly impossible way, but once you kind of get beyond that fear and realize that, this is just showing us something here. It's showing our reality can change in the blink of an eye even,
How much chaos does it have to be out there for you to finally say, okay, enough, I'll look inside, I'll look within me, I'll quit looking outside myself? How much does there have to be, And I think that's really the thing, because 2020 was a year of clarity for me. Yeah. And then after I got my clarity and I knew, they're just pushing more separation, they're just pushing more of the same shit, then screw it, game over. I'm going to learn about everything I can about my soul, my being, who I am on a deeper level, and just make that my daily life.
Absolutely. I'm right with you, man. That's what this past year has been for me. And this upcoming year, I've been shown this is the year of surprises. So whatever that means.
Yeah, I call it the year of abundance. Yeah, we've been calling it abundance around here. It's crazy. Yeah. It'll be crazy. Like, we'll just be walking around and somebody's just like, abundance. And it's just, you keep repeating it and enforcing it.
Yeah.
It's just,
and feeling it. Yeah.
That's right.
Dude, that's got to be powerful to have so many people of like mind like that can keep reminding each other, because that's what it really is. It's like, we need help. We need reminded all the time. We need brought back to the moment when we get lost in our thoughts, Somebody yell out, it's happening. And it's like seeing 11:11 on the clock or something, it brings you back to that moment. Like, it's happening right now. It's happening, and to feel that for a moment, breathe it in for a moment,
Yeah, man, because if you think about it, if everything we've learned about and what's happening, this event or the energies, like new higher conscience, clearly that sun is shining on that side. Because if you tap into it, and I know a lot of people have, when you tap into it for just a moment, it's there. And then it's only when we're just focusing on other things that we kind of lose it and wonder how we could feel that fully. When you make your world about you and you own up to your own responsibilities and to start taking your own shit and doing the work and actually being a part of your life for the first time, instead of worrying about other things, dude, you find that heaven on earth. And I think that's, it's unstoppable, dude. Even with all the stuff that's going on out there, it doesn't feel like any of that's happening in my own world. It's weird.
Yeah.
It is weird.
I think it's what Jesus called the peace that surpasses all understanding, because, and then, another way of looking at it that I thought was really cool was, I think Rupert Spear was talking about how, when we meditate, we think we're practicing meditation, but really when you get to that point, it's really who we are at the core of our being. And it's like, we're really undressing all of the baggage, right, that we've piled on, all of the personality that makes us this human vessel, and sort of laying that to the side and getting back to just that pure divine flame that's within us, So it's almost like we're not so much getting somewhere as much as we're like taking away all the stuff we've added to that and getting back to that, just that core of who we are, the divine that's within us all,
Well, I tell you, man, if it wasn't for this community experience out here, because the relationships have been my mirrors, I have learned my own patterns to catch, to heal, and to focus on by these relationships. And relationships are huge. So if we're in a place where you're like, oh, you got to practice quarantining or six feet away or masks, fuck that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. Well, no, I do. It doesn't matter. It's like, get out there, meet people anyways, and try to make some kind of forward progress into what you ultimately want to experience, no matter what the circumstance is, because there are people out there doing the exact same thing. I'm meeting them almost every day out here, and it's really quite something. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think if you could take the time and actually I don't know, go take some time to figure out what it is that you want. And if it's something that you can get out and do something with, I don't know, are you even having meetup groups anytime now? Are you keeping the COVID thing? Are you doing anything like that?
Not right now. And I'm not just saying that because we're alive or anything. But, that's kind of funny because we were doing all the meetups the year before that, before all of this happened. And it was like, that's why, and it's really sustained a lot of us because we've all still been talking. I don't know. Once you meet people in person, it just feels different, So it's really, I guess, helped us all have someone to talk to throughout this whole thing, which has been really powerful, So we probably will do meetups, but no, nothing's on the schedule right now. We had one planned for August, but it was pretty crazy then.
Out here they have this they have a Taos meetup, a mask meetup group, and it's you're just waiving your rights, or you're not waiving your rights. You're expressing your rights as an American to host some type of, it's not protest, but it's just people sitting around that don't like what's happening, that they don't like the mask, they don't want to wear the mask, and they talk about this stuff because some of them it's hard. They don't like it, and it's frustrating, and they need to have a place to express that. Mm-hmm. And that's what's been happening out here, because, man, I've even walked in and tested the ropes without wearing a mask myself. And I knew I had the medical backing for it, but I just tested the water. So what's great about relationships, though, if you can get more relationships, if you could try to network with more people, these people become your mirror becomes your way of figuring out your own patterns. The more your patterns are figured out, then you can start listing things that you may not even know existed as a one of those layers you talked about, Shane. Yeah. Those are the layers, are catching your patterns. I mean, I just went through one of I didn't even know it was something until I realized, oh my God, that's a little codependency. Where does that come from? Right. And I'd get this feeling in my stomach, in my solar plex area. And I just kept diving into that until finally I caught, it's about emotions and getting reactive. You're not trying to react to the emotion. It's just acknowledging, that's a pattern. That's a program that's in me that has happened when I was a kid. And I'm catching that pattern so much. And you catch it faster and faster and faster and before you know it, this just layer lifts off you, and you feel this pure essence about yourself, this stronger you, this more complete you. And it's profound, and that's what becomes like the play of life. Like, screw everything else, man. I don't care about COVID. I don't care about who's president. I don't care about any of that, man.
Yeah.
Not my thing, man.
Well, I gotta ask you, because the more I get to looking around at things, the more you pull back out of things. You know, the whole unbiased and on the fence thing. I don't participate in the political thing, but I like to watch it. You know, I've felt for years like many people feel now after this past competition, and I'll use words that won't get me triggered or whatever. But I just have to laugh, man. Some of it's actually comical at a certain point. Just the way some of the like take for instance what happened on Christmas, right? We had this big event. Only one person got hurt. I don't know if did you know about the Christmas Day event that happened?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, a recreational vehicle, the morning of Christmas, expanded very quickly with heat and orange lights, right? So anyway, my whole point was nobody was harmed. There was a warning going out for like, I don't know, in a half hour before it happened to get people out of the area. And the guy's last name was Warner, right? The one that did it was the Warner. His last name was Warner. So I look at all these connections with things, and it's just, once you pull back from it and you can start seeing, it's all a big show. I mean, it's all a big distraction to pull us away from where the answers really lie, and that's within, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I think I just seen it was just on my YouTube feed. Like, it was yesterday. Was I seeing that last night or this morning? Anyways, it's this old movie clip, and I think it's called, what is it called? There's a part that maybe it's called Obey. Maybe it's called Obey. And it's like the sunglass scene, and it's this looks like it's 70s, 80s, probably 80s. And this guy's walking down what seems like the street of New York, and he puts on sunglasses, and the billboard says "Obey."
Yeah,
so
obey, consume, and all that. Yeah, that movie is.
Yeah.
See, somebody chiming in the chat. It's like They Live, I think is the name of it. They Live, I believe is the title.
Yeah, They Live. That's it. That's right. And if that's not like just the most obvious shit ever, like,
right?
and that's what I'm saying when you consume, close out, consume. And if you think about it, no matter what play they're doing out in that political world, what play they're doing in the economical world, whether they say, oh, Bitcoin, it's going to be Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's fucking skyrocketing. But so is silver. And a lot of other things are starting to make a change. But the main thing is it doesn't matter what the play is. It's just a constant added distraction to let you do your own experiencing your own self, man. If you're focused on any of that, they'll just, oh, did you hear what happened? Melania Trump, she got caught with Biden in the closet, or maybe all this stuff starts getting dumped out. Like, say you start getting full disclosure. Right. And we're actually getting these files dumped, and they're actually doing something against these fucking rats, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter. Even when that happens, it's gonna happen. It's gonna feel like a list. It's awesome. It's cool. But keep focusing on your own self. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be. It's gonna ramp up. You know it is, and that's what the whole point is. As these energies are coming in, it's super easy to get in tune with yourself and to get centered. And it is, if you just give it a little work. It's muscle. It needs to be worked out, and you need to keep it sharp, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, things are gonna get crazy. Shit. When we had conjunctions, we had some of the biggest planetary alignment in my lifetime. And if we don't use these to our own benefit for our own spiritual well-being, like, we're just throwing out the keys to the universe and just saying that, whatever. So it's hard to muster up and during times and stuff like what's going on out there. But that's where I find where you can find how really badass you are, is when you can turn this into a fuel for yourself and not allow it to consume you.
Well, one thing that I've noticed, I guess I started noticing, I brought it up with Michelle, because we talk about Ascension Symptoms and just different weird things that we're feeling, just to compare notes with other people, to see if, I don't know, it's real helpful, because a lot of times we'll find like, oh my gosh, that was happening, pressure in the forehead and, third eye pressure and body tingles and things like that. But one of the ones that I noticed back in, I want to say September, maybe August, September, somewhere in there, was like I would get these anxiety. I'm going to call them an anxiety attack just for the purpose of explaining it, but it wasn't like out of control, or it didn't turn into like a panic attack like you might expect on, but it just felt that way. It felt very much like, my heart started racing, and it just felt like an anxiety attack. And, immediately I'm like forced to sit down, and, I didn't have anything in life particularly making me feel anxious at that time to trigger it. So it felt like it was external, like energies coming in. So I just took a few conscious breaths and like really tried to center it in. And then I noticed that sometimes I could feel that I was on the verge of it. Like the energies were just really strong for the whole day. And then I would need to keep my thoughts in line. Because if I got into thinking anything that was lower vibe, like maybe how to respond in a really ego type way or something, immediately it would start ramping up. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop entertaining that thought. But it was like this little notification to let me know, hey, you need to ride on the top of this wave, not get down in it, because that's where it feels too intense. But if you can keep your vibes up, you can ride on the top of it. And that's very much how it felt. So my son, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, he woke up with this nightmare because he was experiencing his first, what he described as a panic attack. And he said he had to just start breathing real deep, and it finally subsided or whatever. And so, I talked to him about it. He never had that happen. So I talked to him about the energies coming in and just breathing deep. And it's happened since then. And the breathing makes it go away right away, just like it does for me. But then I was talking to my friend, and just explaining, because we were talking about how one day we just felt like crying all day, right? It was like just this really, not even in a bad way. It's just like on the verge of crying all day, the way the energies were, And then that took me into talking about this anxiety feeling. And he said he was feeling the same thing, and he thought he was under psychic attack. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a horrible thing to think while you're feeling that way, right? Because you're already feeling like this intense energy coming in. And then if you feel like it's a negative thing, it sort of plunges you down into those lower. Remember, I was just saying how you kind of want to ride on top of it. So, you got two very different responses, two people feeling the same thing. One person feels like they're under some type of psychic attack. The other person feels like, oh my gosh, this is some kind of 5D divine energy coming in that's just super intense, and let me breathe in it and absorb it. And it's sort of taking this point of this sovereign being that I know nothing's going to enter me that isn't divine and holy and of the light, right? So it's sort of taking a stand in your sovereignty, and just, I don't know, man. It's like two different experiences, two of the identical experiences, but they can go very differently, just in your mindset of what you're thinking while you're experiencing it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I would like to touch base really strongly on that. That's really good. That's a real good thing to bring up. But one thing I noticed, what you said, you're talking about it as anxiety, and people felt like they're under psychic attack. Now, I get it, man. I do. I really do, because I've had those moments of anxiety. I had those moments of, why are my thoughts going this way? Why am I waking up and immediately being upset about somebody who may not even be around me? Just something was just weird. But what I noticed about the anxiety and why is because, just like the same thing you just said, I know nothing dark or negative is going to come with inside me. And that's where I got the trip up. I tripped up and was saying the same thing. I know, please protect me from this. Please don't. I don't want any. That is the fucking catch, my friend. If you can catch that we are both dark and light, we are both light and dark. And if you can fully accept it, in a way that you never had before, to be open to that. That's the anxiety. That's your dark saying, look, I'm here. And most of us are like, no, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that. But if you could just remember, you're the observer of these feelings. You are the observer of these thoughts. You are not the thoughts. You are not the feelings. You are not the emotions. These things can be scary, but that's the master catch right there. If you can hone in on those moments where you feel super scared about some kind of energy that's happening, but just realize, oh, there's nothing to really be scared of. That's just something inside of me that needs to be seen. Something inside of me is saying I'm not accepting something. And if you're not accepting that you are that dark, you are the dark too, because you have it in you. You are capable of fierce things, and you know this on a human level. And that you can go to a dark place if you so choose. And the most people, we just turn it away. And that's what I immediately started doing, different kind of understanding, asking my guides to help me balance my dark and what that means to me. I would have moments of pure, incredible power that I felt unstoppable, but it was in my solar plex and not my heart, but I felt it connected together, where it was so incredible that like nobody would get in my way, but at the same time, I was coming at it with such compassion that it was just flowing for me. And it started to make sense of the yin and yang of why we need, in a time like this, to be okay with tapping into that dark side so you can step it up, so you can make it through this and allow nobody to mess with you in your life, because you're on a path of divine beauty and nobody's going to stop you. You have to sometimes be okay with that. And the more we just kind of toss it away and the fight that, hey, it's just a feeling inside of you. And if you can feel it inside of you, of course, nothing's going to come over and take your body. Nothing is, you're giving your power away with that kind of thinking. Exactly. And this is your mind. Your mind can just give it away like that. And then you could feel even more anxiety because you might feel that it's true because you feel it in your gut or in your chest. And that's a moment of just catching it again and just like, oh, man, I'm doing this to myself. And the way you can push that out of you and how to test that limit, because it's just your ego doing that to you, is if you crushed out hard workouts or some kind of something where you challenge your mind to do something that you just don't want to do, and you put yourself in I don't want to get up and go ride my bike. I don't want to get up and go for that hike in the morning. If you did something to push the limit of your own mind, because your brain is just going to keep messing with you until you master it. And that's the part about it. If you can accept that you are the dark and light, you have those energetic moments that actually work and get you on top of that wave like you wanted to be in the beginning.
Absolutely. You know what? And that really, when you tap into that, that's really what helps you forgive others, to realize, like Jesus said, forgive them for they know not what they do, to realize that you could have been that very darkness that you see in others that you are so appalled by. You could have let it reign inside of you, and you could have become that person. In fact, you would be that person if you were born into that exact situation that they were born into, So, I don't know, in a sense, accepting that, realizing that we're all capable of anything, and then that helps you have more gratitude that you didn't take the dark path this time around, right?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what it's about? Like, this was, we came into this incarnation to experience a choice. It was a choice. You could choose negative, you can choose positive polarity, light, dark, which one you wanted. And whichever which one you do is where you just kind of like you incarnate or graduate to the next, to the fourth dimension in that beingness. And, everybody wants love, baby. So, that's what it's all about. But here's one thing that I've come to know, and I know this can be hard for people sometimes to hear, but what I've learned about also being in community is because my heart chakra was so open, right? And over time, after my heart chakra initially opened, I was meeting incredible people. I dated a great girl for a little while, was doing traveling. These things were really something, but I kept feeling like I was being drained like something felt like, why are they taking advantage? Why is this? Why wasn't this person this? And then it realized it was like going to school to learn how to set healthy boundaries, because as compassionate people, we don't want to say no. We don't want to say no. We're loved. When you're in your heart, your heart is love, and love says yes to everything. But if you do that so much, and certain people in certain situations or whatever, you start to feel drained sometimes. So to me, it was learning in boundaries, healthy, like finally you just have to get hard and be like, no, I don't want anything to fucking do with that person, or no, I'm done. Not in my world. Like, you have to step it up. You have to be okay with being unbalanced sometimes to become great. And then when you start to feel like you're great, then get balanced. If you feel like you're slacking in a few areas, because that darkness they work for the light. It shows you where to go. And you can use that as a healthy, co-created energy within inside yourself. Because when I would be mad, instead of allowing the emotion to give reaction, so I can feel it in me and I could just be like, live it. I just don't want anything to do with it. But I wouldn't allow the emotion to get reaction. I would just let it fester all inside me. And then I would take myself away and actually maybe sit with it and imagine that frustration as another being of myself, and just kicking the shit out of anything it wanted to kick the shit out of, beating whatever it wanted to beat the hell out of. And I would just sit there and be like, hey, I get it. Oh man, do I get it. And that emotion would start to calm down, and it would start to work a little bit better with me. But that took being okay that you have a dark side, yo. We all do. Like, own that shit. Don't turn it away. Like, would you allow somebody to step on your love? No. Like, that's child games now. Like, we need to. It's time to kind of take it up a notch to remember we're all warriors. We're all badasses. And then we own that. Yeah.
I wanted to go back to what you were saying, just because maybe even use a little example. So when you say sit with it, because I know this comes up a lot of times with people, they'll sort of feel like they've dealt with something, and then it comes up again, and then they do what you were saying at first. They sort of just kind of suppress it, or maybe hope they'll desensitize themselves to it if it comes up enough, but they don't really deal with it. So when you said you sat with it, what do you mean? Can you give us an example without giving away any details about anybody? Maybe I don't know, hypothetical or something.
Oh, no, absolutely. So I have a dear friend. I call him the doc. And when I start to feel something, it's been a pattern. Like, say, if I'm feeling an energy that's stuck in my gut where I can clearly tell it's in my solar plex, and it might even be located on the left side of my solar plex, just underneath my rib cage, where a lot of my anxiety comes from. And I would have him come over, and I would be just kind of talking like, I don't understand why I'm having this emotion. I know I can be centered. Why am I allowing maybe a simple text to trigger me? Why would I allow that to get me like that? What is this? And we would start to kind of just take it apart, and I would sit down and I'd have to feel it. I'd have to see where it was going at. Like, it was coming from the location I just expressed to you, right? And I would go into a moment of what else felt like that before in my past. At what times in my past have I felt that before? And I would feel this feeling of, oh man, I'm seeking validation. Like, this is a feeling that you kind of, when you feel like when you get hit in the gut, like somebody punches you in the stomach after maybe giving your power, like you gave your power away. For me, it was like my mom. My mom wasn't necessarily the most validated love shower. Bless her heart, may she be. But that's where I'm in my future. Now in my life, I'm dealing with trying to seek validation. So I would get triggered if maybe somebody didn't text a certain text back in the way I thought they would respond to the text that I sent to them. Mm-hmm. Little things like these are patterns, and you have to catch it. And it was all in the same place. It was all in the same area, whether that be somebody frustrated me in front of me, or maybe it was somebody sent me a text, or maybe it was something a girl said or something, whatever. It was always coming from the same place. And that's where I caught the biggest pattern. I was like, it's one thing. It's the, I have the slight codependent need to seek validation outside myself, and I didn't even know it. And as soon as I caught it, it took like a few months of this shit. Like for like 2 months, I felt this in my ribs, just under my left side. But I wouldn't stop because I knew something was off. I knew this is not my baseline energy. I don't know what the hell that is. And I would just keep asking and ask for guidance and talk to confine into somebody who's like-minded that can maybe help you sift away through the muck, and to get you to a place of just a little bit of clarity can spark something. You're like, oh, this is because this happened when I was a kid, and then she didn't reciprocate that to me, and I have now programmed it into my body, and it's been a part of me this entire life. Well, bam, you just ended a karmic cycle. Mm-hmm. And it just takes a little reparenting. So then all you do is, now that you've noticed it, every time you get that feeling in that spot, you then start reparenting it. Then you catch it. You're like, hey, hi, I know I feel you. And I acknowledge that you feel that way, but we don't do that now. And all is well. I am safe, I am in control, and I am guided. And you just start reparenting that emotion again, over and over and over and over. It takes a little time, but then all of a sudden, you have now hit yourself in a new level. It's quite something, if that answers your question.
Yeah, it's like your awareness dissolves it away after some point. That's
right.
It's I guess it was the law of one that talked about how, and it's really getting out of that whole victim mentality, which it sounds like, that's what's excelled your growth too. Is like, because once you realize everything's coming at you for a reason and you're not just being attacked all the time, and you move out of that victim mentality, you start handling it like a game or a school or an experience that you're supposed to gain something from. You begin to notice those little things that you previously would ignore, like you were saying, like the way you had a feeling when you got a text that wasn't what you expected. And then instead of directing it to that person, you're like, wait a minute, what's this coming up in me? And when you realize that feeling you have isn't even you, it's your body's response, right? Just like the voices. Like, why did my body respond that way?
Right.
Why did my 3D vessel respond that way? And you take this higher view of it, this, separate from it. Because, if two people are arguing, if you're one of the people, you're in it, man. But if you're kind of watching two strangers argue, there's no emotion. I don't even know what they're arguing about, and it's like you have to pay attention to see if you want to take someone's side, right? So it is. It's like that. It's like pulling away where you're not so much part of it, and you start realizing that maybe somebody cut you off in traffic, but maybe their kid just got hurt and they're on the way to the hospital or something. You start to consider there's other things that could be going on besides your world, and your perspective.
Well, I mean, you can look at your body as a computer that has just been plagued with a bunch of different viruses, right? And you got to get your body, your computer, back to factory default, right? So you just got to go clear the muck. You got to find where that shit is, and it can. It's a ride. I'm not gonna lie, man. That shit that is not for the weary. Okay. I mean, this takes warrior shit. Like this is the shit that is a warrior to me. A spiritual warrior is to face your darkness, because that is just you. The deeper you go within yourself, the darker you come to know, oh shit, it's not really that scary. It's not like the dark's out to possess you. The dark is just there. It is you. You are a part of the dark. You are the light. You are the dark. You're all of it. You're all of this. And it's not really too heavy. You can use it as a power too. Now, I'm not saying you call in things and invite them that are dark into your body. I always call in like angels, and I give permission to the angels to work through me. But I also, just like they talk about, if I read this correctly, they say when you call forth the violet flame, you initially, when you hear violet flame, oh, that sounds beautiful, the violet flame. But they say to make sure you call in guidance and protection around the violet flame as you're asking this to work inside you, because it can also be used. The dark can use the violet flame too. So it's equal. It has no judgment. It can be used. It's an energy. So if you see yourself as that and say, okay, I'm asking my dark to work in harmony with my light. I want to be a badass, a spiritual badass, or whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. Come with it with drive, like never before.
That's awesome, man. So have you had any kind of, we talked about telepathy, which has definitely been picking up, but any kind of dreams or any symptoms or anything just as of late, that's anything new happening?
I don't, no, not the symptoms. Besides just lifting my own stuff, but dreams are come in. Me and my my girlfriend, we've been trying to interpret our dreams, and I'd wake up like, I had a crazy ass dream, like so did I, and then one time, oh man, that was pretty cool. She spent the night. It was maybe a week ago or maybe a few days ago. She spent the night, and we woke up, and I said, no, it was her. She was talking about something about snakes. I was like, son of a bitch, I had a dream about a snake too. We both had dreams at night about snakes, and it was just really cool because we were trying to figure out what it meant. And it's like, well, how did that feel when you were in that dream, when you seen the snake, and what does that mean in life? So we're getting messages. I got messages too, and it's just cool because it's usually I don't get that many vivid dreams and hold on to them, but it seems like my soul's making me do it. So now I'm putting more intention into my dream before I go to bed. So I'm like, okay, I want to get a message and I want to remember it. and it seems like it's helping along to understand what is going on in my dreams, because there seems like there's a lot of messages, and I just want to learn how to interpret them better.
So were the snakes, is that representative of knowledge, or did you guys look it up or find anything? What was the common thread with the snakes?
Well, it's just like if it's the top of your totem and you're getting some snake medicine, I've come to know about it. For me, usually I go off my feeling about it. I don't want to read anybody else's shit. I want my first initial feeling, and then I seek some type of confirmation, if you will, right? Just to see if I got something. To me, it's about the feeling. Like in my dream, did I feel scared when I seen the snake? No. Do I feel like it was going to hurt me? No. Do I feel like it was badass and awesome to see? Yes. So then I feel like somewhat in my dream, it was just kind of like owning my kundalini, yo, like getting my shit in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for that's what it meant for me. Now, when I looked at it and I did a little research, there's always different interpretations. Were you about to step on the snake? Did it bite you? Yeah, no. And sometimes, you might I just might see a snake. It's always been something positive, because a snake can scare the shit out of you. But I'm all about stepping into, why does that scare me? I want to get closer. So even out when I was in the doing the community stuff, I ran into 4 rattlesnakes, and it was the coolest thing I've ever experienced. There's one corn snake underneath the steps of my fifth wheel, but coming across those 4 rattlesnakes, you initially think you would get all freaked out, but man, they are really awesome. They will let you know you're too close, and you never really have to worry about that shit. Like it's just So yeah, when it's all about how you feel. Most people, I don't know, some snakes could be bad omens, but I don't think I'm on a path to give a shit about bad omens anymore. I don't have time to think about bad omens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't give that shit energy at all.
Well, we got a one-track mind, so if we stay focused on the positive stuff, we just keep heading in the right direction. So, yeah, I don't have time for bad omens.
there's no point into it. Like, it doesn't seem like there's any point into giving. That's the other catch, is if you can catch yourself more about how many thoughts are you giving that are positive compared to negative throughout your normal day. Even if it's giving a moment of watching the news, you're giving your mind, your thoughts, no thought, and you're just focusing just on the news or what's going on out in the world. That's juice. That's time you could be having, giving yourself juice, telling yourself how badass you are, pushing yourself to the limit. Go out, go run, push yourself, break through the laziness. And that's why I think they're ramping it up so much, because the energies are so incredible right now. It takes nothing to tap into these and then to harness it into your daily life.
Exactly.
If you just do it, if you just give it some effort and invite it in and just get to work on yourself. I mean, that's what we came here to do. How the hell do we experience higher conscience holding on to all our baggage, man? And then how do we know to dump our baggage if we don't even know what our baggage is? Yeah. And it's simple. It's just your patterns. So that's why we need people in our life. That's why I was saying, like, find meetups, like, stick it to the man. Like, COVID, if it's real, it's real. If it's not, it's not. It doesn't matter. If it is and everybody's going to die, then screw it. Then everybody, let's go out with COVID. Let's meet up. Let's hang out. Let's get a drum circle. Let's cook some food. Let's give some hugs.
Right. Do we really want to live forever cowering in fear, or do you want to just, I'd rather have fun and live however long I want to live. You know what I mean? I want to live. If you're going to live, let's live.
Let's live, man. I don't want to live 30 more years under the control of somebody telling me I can't go out and wear a mask. Like, I get it. To wear a mask that you don't have the confrontation, I get it, because I went through the confrontation and had some issues. So I just screw it. I'm just going to go get my groceries. I'll put the mask on, right? I get it. We're in a different, I'm in New Mexico, and it's really weird out here. They have color-coded shit going on out here. And it's almost like 9/11. You remember that stuff? Like 9/11 when they're like, oh, it's an orange threat. We're in a high alert for possible terrorist attack. It's like the same thing all over again. So one minute the restaurants can be open, the next minute they're not. So it's just really stupid.
Well, to go back to connect a few things that had dawned on me that I didn't mention that I should probably bring up is when I was talking about the anxiety and all of that, what better way to hide these intense energies coming in, right, than to put people in a state that when they feel it, they just feel like, oh, I'm just feeling the anxiety because I'm out of work. I'm dealing with this. I'm scared about this invisible threat, and then think about, that movie Bird Box came out like a few years ago, but where everybody was scared in their homes because there was this invisible thing outside after them. It's like all this, it's funny to see it like play out a few years later. It's like, oh my gosh, were they like preparing or something, but it's like a big show, man. And it's like, you don't want to get distracted by it.
I mean, I get you. In my way, I kind of see it as, like what ways to hide that kind of energy. But at the same time, I believe, just from what I've noticed in my own thing, when something gets amplified, if you're turning up the volume on higher energies and you're holding on to something, or you're not willing to look at something, that light is going to vibrate that shit to the surface of you to the point where you cannot not look at it.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So even because you hear other people have different experience. Oh, my God, I feel so amazing today. They're integrating it just fine. But you might be just dealing with what is going on? Right. What is this, man? So that's what I think a lot of it is. It's just really a great way to help amplify. And maybe, just maybe, because no matter how you see it, even if you don't have baggage, what is this telling you need to do? Okay, you've got to do something so you can handle these energies better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you handle these energies better? You got to start exercising, drink water, eat healthier, start meditating more, get out, get some sun, put your hands in the dirt. You got to add things because you're changing, your body's changing, your DNA is changing. If you keep doing the same shit, It's just going to be anxiety. It's going to be panic. It's going to be crazy. I don't know how to deal with it. It was hard, man. It's hard figuring that shit out because I just would do the same thing, but it was causing so much turmoil. I knew there had to be a way to push this in the direction that works for me, so I don't have this, oh man, here's another new moon energy or full moon. Oh shit! Like I had to strengthen up and sharpen something within myself to just be like fucking fierce, just really unstoppable type of energy. And that's honing into that little bit of dark that just is like, hey, I can handle this no matter what. I just need to get stronger in areas so that I can do it. And it's the same thing. Telepathy is not going to get better with just you sitting there not doing anything. You got to get practice to it. What does that mean? Yeah. Maybe you and your partner can start doing things like writing or drawing a shape, or writing a number on a piece of paper and covering it and looking at it and visualizing it and just playing with it and say, hey, just out of random points, be like, what am I, number 1 through 10, go, and they're like 7. You're like, oh, well, maybe not that time, but you practice. You're just trying to strengthen the muscle in yourself. And it just takes some workout, man.
Yeah, we were doing the same thing with colors and shapes, like think of a yellow square or an orange triangle, that sort of thing. Because sometimes, one person to get the shape and the other person, I was doing it with my kids, so it was like a little group of us, and it was like, it's funner that way because you'll notice one person get the color where someone else gets the shape, and you wonder how to send it out. So you get to practice okay, do I just visualize it or do I say it? Or do I say it and visualize it? And then, so it's kind of cool to play with it and see what works best,
Sure. Yeah, I agree. You can play with all kinds of different stuff, but it's just as long as you're just trying to move forward in something. You know what I mean? That's all we can do. What else is there to do? Yeah. What else is there to do? You know what I mean?
But the when you were talking about the energy amplifying stuff, I noticed that too. Not so much what I've been feeling lately, but I've noticed certain energies when they come in will amplify. Like if you're in a great mood, you feel super awesome. And if you get a little agitated, it takes you the other way. And it's like this amplifying energy. And it's like, I remember at the time I was telling my kids, do not get in a bad mood because this energy coming in will just send you spiraling out into you'll be really aggravated or whatever. So I watched it. I played with it a little bit, and it's strange the way you can feel a difference in some of the energies coming in. Sometimes it feels really calm, and now I don't know. I felt giddy the last couple of days. Just no real reason. Just felt real cheerful and stuff. And I've been stuck in my artwork. April texted me earlier, "Are you going to come out of your hole?" Basically, I'm like, so here I am or whatever. But yeah, I've been doing this artwork and just getting lost in it and listening to these podcasts and just really enjoying my time, and off in my own little world, creating art. And I've got a few other projects going on too, but that's where my fun's been lately,
And that's doing creative work, man. That's being the creator in formation, my friend. And that's all I'm talking about. If you do something like create like art or do anything that helps fuel your mind in some positive way, you ride the top of these waves every time they come in.
Right. It could be gardening or dancing or writing, whatever, even people that like to just sit out on your rocking chair or whatever and daydream outside, and definitely want to get plenty of sun,
Oh man, it's winter, and we got pretty good amount of snow this winter. It's been snowy, 80% of the time, so far, 80, 85. But dude, the sun. So that's what I'm saying, that being out here and you're working, you gotta be out in the sun. And I learned how to really experience what that feels like with the sun. So if you super hydrate your body and you spend a day out in the sun, you get this. I even talk to my water, so it also adds that extra beautiful flair to everything. But there's like this harmony that happens with your body being hydrated. It's vibrating because you talked to the water and, you know, gave your grace to it, but also the sun is giving you like this life-driven force. And you're not being like, I never got sunburned. I never got blistered. I always looked so damn good. And from just being out in the sun, being hydrated is what changed it all, man. But it was like the harmony, because your body can take a lot of sun, and that's what it wants to do. You want that sun energy. We're meant to be outside, but our bodies aren't, you know, we haven't really, we don't really do too well of taking care of it. I'm not perfect on any of the notes, but I realized that was the game on that. How can I be out in the sun longer and handle that intense sun all day from sun up to sundown when it gets 100 degrees? And it was all about just super hydrating. Hydrate the shit out of your body. Eat a little better. Add the extra. You're just giving your vessel, your temple, something better and easier for those energies to flow. And that's also why I'm working off the meat. I'm trying to work on being a vegetarian. It's not the easiest, but I can tell when I've eaten meat and those energies come in and I'm thinking about something, oh my God, I'm stuck in that for 3 or 4 days until I pass that shit.
Really?
Until I actually yeah, dude, it is like stuck and it holds in me harder than if I was eating light food, because the energy can just, oh, I feel that. Oh, that's not too bad. And it's over in a few hours kind of thing. Just eating that meat. It's dense. Think about it, man. It's meat.
Yeah.
It's fourth density love consciousness. I don't believe they eat meat in that dimension, my friend. You know, and I know we're human, and I'm still human. Like, I love me a good burger from time. You know, I'm still trying to break that. Like, but I'll go a few weeks without eating meat, and it seems like I'm just in a lot better mood. And when energies do come in, I absorb it better. And if I do get frustrated at something, it's easier that I'm able to acknowledge it and release it right then, rather than it's just holding there and it's taking time. And then my thoughts go, and then I start spiraling out and start, why am I thinking that? No, it's simple. It's just you're holding on to it, and it's in you a little bit longer than you think. It's crazy.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think for me, I feel like I'm not grounded enough if I don't eat at least a little bit of meat. And I have shifted quite a bit where like meat was the main portion of my plate. It's a very small portion of it a lot of times now. So I have changed, and like I'm pretty much water only. I might drink with a meal, I might have a soda or something, but typically I just have a few swallows of it and I'm ready to go back to the water. You know, just a little taste of it with the meal, not a full glass or anything. But and that's a way different than I used to be. So I just say listen to your body, you know, and just go with whatever you're feeling or whatever. Your body will change, you know.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. That's what I'm just saying. I've just come to know I know what you mean by grounded. I mean, that's exactly what it does. Mm-hmm. It grounds you to the most root core of who you are as a human being. It brings you down to the rootest, like, primal point of being a human. Mm-hmm. Right? I get that.
Yeah, Chozo Sapiens agreeing with you, too, saying he feels the same way. It does that to him, too. Yeah,
it's just something that I acknowledge. I'm not saying it's the truth, and I'm not saying I'm just saying I acknowledge I can see what it's doing to me, and that's really what's happening. I mean, you're talking about, I'm from Oklahoma, man. Like, let's bust out the smoker, let's slap some ribs, let's get some chicken fried steaks. I mean, come on, man. That's damn, to know that I can't. Well, I could, and it's just taking time. But at the same time, it's man, I'm pushing to experience more of that inner holy shit feeling I can feel inside myself. So
yeah,
I'm trying. I'm not the best. I'm not perfect. I'm still, you know, I have my moments, but I'm catching them, and I'm just trying to aid more to the white wolf than more to the dark. But I'm also acknowledging that sometimes you got to feed that dark wolf. So it's okay. It takes time. Maybe I'll always eat meat, but not so much. Or maybe I'll just you know, understand when the best time to eat meat and not maybe do it like at full moons or new moons or whatever, when there's certain energies, like, oh, when something's in retrograde, probably shouldn't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Mercury's, and I don't know.
Have you tried any fasting or anything, Kerry?
Yeah, I'll do some temporary like day fasting. So if I wake up, I'll just do a workout, meditate, play the guitar, and I'll do some writing. I write to spirit or to my soul, and I already feel so good that I'll just go the entire day till about 5 or 6 that night, and then might eat something. But I haven't done anything as far as a few days. A few of my friends, they do that. They've gone like 3 days. I think they tried to do a 5-day, but I don't know if they pulled it off. I can't remember, but I know they did 3. I think they did 5, actually. That's right. I think they did do the 5. And it was crazy because it was like when I was having conversations with them, it was like I was just having a conversation with their stomach. And they were just talking about how it was like they just kept talking about how much they wanted to eat. Like, oh, what I'd give for some vegan pancakes right now. And it's like, well, yeah, it's a cool day too today. Sure, just random. It was just like talking to their stomach. So I haven't pushed it. Why, have you?
No. I was just kind of wondering because I've heard, people say they get cool effects from it. Other people have used plant medicine. So I don't know. I was just wondering, in the climate and working outside and stuff, I can imagine that. I don't know, probably get some pretty cool out in the wilderness for 40 days experiences. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. No, I just, I could probably, where I am now, man, I'm in the best shape of my life from just doing all this, but I can probably go 3 days. I know I can go 24, no problem. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind going 3 days on a water fast. It would always be with water. I would never do it without water.
Yeah, me neither.
I think I can. I probably should. You know what? Maybe that's a good challenge. Like, I'd like to see if I can master my mind that well. To just, I'm not gonna fucking eat. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Just go work out, meditate.
I gotta tell you about my sister. She way back in the day, she did a what she called a Daniel's fast when we were Christians or whatever, and a Daniel's fast, I guess, is just vegetables and water. And so I came home, and she's eating like chips and salsa, right? And then she shows me all the ingredients. She says, it's just vegetables. You know what I mean? It's like, well, man, that's a great fast. I could just eat chips and salsa all the time, Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. No. Dude, I know there's shit. I remember doing the sandwich fast, man. Like, when not really as fast, but yeah. I was just eating sandwiches all the time.
Oh, it says Sapien saying he's going to try a 3-day fast pretty soon here. I don't know. A 3-day would probably do pretty good. That's just enough to probably get you detoxing and stuff. Probably need a 5-day to. But I don't know, man. You'd have to be like, I don't know. I wouldn't be out working in the heat for sure.
Oh, come on, man. See, that's where, come on. See, right there, that's where you need to catch yourself. You need to be like, no, you can, because if you were hydrated, you absolutely could be okay.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. I wouldn't say go out and lift boulders all day. No. Right. But if you did if you did a 3-day fast, and on that 3rd day, but you have been super hydrated already for a month. You prepped yourself, right? Like, you got yourself just hydrated. 2 gallons a day you've been drinking, or even maybe testing a little bit over. But you're working out. You're kind of getting ready. If you did a sweat lodge after that 3rd day, boy, you could really see the depths of your soul in that moment right now. I know those sweat lodges can get. You're detox, like you said, you're detoxing it on day 3. Yeah. You're really pushing out the detox in your body. You double down with a sweat lodge, a 4-door sweat lodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably experienced something within inside yourself that you couldn't go back from, man. Like, you would take home with you a new you. You wouldn't be the same after that. Yeah. I've seen it happen.
Yeah. But, when I worked outside all the time, I feel like I was just sweating so much. I think I pretty much stayed detoxed just from so much water moving through all the time, you know what I mean? It's just drinking so much water, sweating so much out all the time. But I haven't had that, so it'd probably do me good to hit the sweat lodge in a fast.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is, man. And, the more hydrated you are, like the easier it is your body moves, the more hydrated your muscle feels. So if you did do workout, you recover faster, you feel better, you actually, your body starts working for you in a better way. Mm-hmm. And I know I preach this almost every time I'm on your show, dude. It's just dude, it's one of the easiest things you could do to make yourself upgrade, your whole path. It's just hydrate your body. Are you going to go through moments of having to piss a lot? Yeah. Are you going to have to sometimes wake up 4 or 5 times a night and pee? Yeah. But once you bust over the hump, then your body starts to absorbing it right, and it's a part of it. You don't piss that much, but because your muscles are starting to absorb it better. You're flowing, you're hydrated, your veins are popping, and they're looking good. They're just filled with water. You're filled with water, but you're not holding it as water weight. It's actually working with you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it takes a little something, and not a lot of people know that can really, it is beneficial, especially adding the talking to it and blessing your water. Come on, how can you go wrong with that, dude? All the water in your body vibrating to the vibration of love because you said I love you to your water. Yeah. I mean,
absolutely, man.
I get.
Oh, Chozo Sapien say he had a friend that went to a monastery and had to do a water fast for 2 weeks. Man, but they're probably sitting all day long meditating, right? That'd be pretty rough, regardless, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think I don't know a quick way to lose weight was always to do the water fast, and in the military, I just want to eat all day, and I'd only eat 1 meal a day, and when my stomach growled, I would chug like a pint of water. And that would hold it for like 20, 30 minutes. And then I would, stomach would growl again for another pint of water. So it can be done, dude.
Yeah. The water's the key, isn't it? To keep your stomach filled up.
Water is life.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's awesome. Man. Where are you headed? What do you got going on now? Sorry to cut you off again. So what do you got going on? You're starting this new property right away, or the Indian?
No, so it's winter now. So probably end of March, April time frame. The ground will hopefully have thawed enough, and we'll start. I'm going to be moving my fifth wheel. That huge fifth wheel I have, I got it completely off grid, which is so awesome. Dude, it is so great getting your camper completely off-grid and self-sustained.
What's it got, like solar panels or what? Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah, dude, I loaded it. Yeah, so what I did is, so I have this 36-foot 3 pop-out fifth wheel, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and it was all set up to be plugged up to a 50-amp, plug-in. It has all the bells and whistles, but you don't really need all the bells and whistles, especially because you're not going to be pulling 50 amp unless you dump a lot of money into solar. Mm-hmm. So I bought 240 watt solar panels, 4 12-volt Trojan AGMs, a 1250 watt inverter, and a 40 amp charge controller. Hooked it all up, and I can run everything off of that. My refrigerator runs off that. I can charge my phones, the TV, all that stuff can run off that. So it cost that, because we got such a hookup, it didn't run but probably almost $1,000. So for that $1,000, I don't have to plug into any power at all. Like I'm not camping with one battery. I actually have, I'm now living with power. So it's incredible. I also then upgraded my toilets, and I pulled out the toilets and put composting toilets. You can use peat moss, and it collects your urine in one thing, collects your poo in another. You use peat moss, it smells like earth. You dump it in a hole, you put some mulch on, you plant a tree, right? Mm-hmm. And then I also installed a little mini grizzly wood burning stove. It's like a 10-inch by 10-inch by 10-inch wood burning stove. That way you're not burning propane all the time for your heat. So the only thing technically right now that runs on propane yet is the refrigerator and the stove, but I can switch the refrigerator to the inverter at any time. So the only thing that would really run on propane is just the stove. So I'm black waterless, so I don't have any black water. I only have gray water, and I end up putting my gray water, and I always dig a trench from out of my fifth wheel wherever it's parked. Dig a trench, plant some trees, let your gray water water the trees while you're in that location. And the fireplace it works, and it's a secondary cooking spot. So if worse comes to worse and there's no more propane in the world, you still got a fireplace, a wood burning stove where you can still cook. So, and you still have a working refrigerator because you have solar panels. So that was the idea, man. I dumped some money into it, but I invested. It's a little mini apartment on wheels, but it's completely off grid. I can put it anywhere. I do have to do the water. I'm still working on water stuff, but for the most part, you can carry 250 gallons of water. But if you're nearby a stream, you can just filter your own.
Wow,
so,
that's cool. So yeah, you parked that thing by a stream somewhere, and then filtered the water, and I mean that's 250 gallons. How long would that last you? Like a week or something?
Oh, dude, I made 24 gallons work for me in a week. I mean, I learned how to do the best I could at minimizing. So I would only take 3 showers, maybe 2 to 3 showers, depending on how much work we did and what was going on in each day. 2 to 3 showers a week, but I would only use 5 gallons exactly. I would use other gallons for washing dishes, and I would use the other gallons maybe when you brush your. I'm doing using as little as possible, but I'd also have drinking water too. Yeah. So I made it work with 24 gallons. If I wanted to get crazy, I'd go up to 36 and have me a nice 10-gallon shower. But for the most part, I wanted to see how you could go, how many gallons of water I could use in a week's time, even during the hottest time of the summer. And I made 24 gallons work in a week, and you actually lived in luxury. You got your dishes done. You took your good hot shower, 5-gallon showers. Hey, they are awesome. They work. You get clean. It worked, man. It was really something. So I would say with 250 gallons, yeah, you can go a long time. At least, shit.
Did that big truck of yours have a fifth wheel on it? Are you still driving that big truck? Will that pull your home?
Oh, no, I don't have that big truck anymore. So I got rid of that truck. Yeah, I kind of manifested in a weird way. I got the truck first, got rid of the truck, got the fifth wheel to pull the truck. I had the people who bought it bring it out. I'm looking into a new truck to pull that, but I'm also thinking I might sell this whole rig because I'm looking at buying a house. So I'm becoming an adult, man. Like I'm 35 going on 36, so I'm looking at a house to buy. And so I love that investment because if worse comes to worse and the whole grid shuts down, the house I'm looking at buying is on a well and it has propane. I'm only connected to electric, but I have an entirely other home with solar and everything. So don't know, man. My investments were sound, and I felt like that's what my guidance was telling me to do. And it's a fun feeling when you actually don't have to necessarily live on the grid.
Yeah, that sounds fun, man. That sounds awesome. Great experience.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know, what's going on with you? Are y'all doing any conferences? Everything's COVID shut down. Are you doing live conferences, Zoom conferences, anything like that?
Well, we did an online conference, this last year. We moved it online. We were going to have it up in Connecticut, but we decided to just move it online, and we did it that way. And I'm really not sure how we're going to do this next one. We've got some online shows like the one I mentioned at the beginning that's starting up on Wednesday, for those who missed it, at 4:30 Eastern on the other channel, the International Mandela Effect Conference. The link's actually down below in the description, but that's going to be a show. We're going to be doing that probably, really don't know how often. We're going to have guests on that and stuff. So doing a lot of work with IMEC, or the International Mandela Effect Conference, and that's coming around pretty cool, man. We the first one we did in Idaho, HBO came out and filmed this show called How To with John Wilson. It's it's a HBO Max show. And anyway, so he was just on Jimmy Kimmel the other day, and they were actually talking about Christopher Anatra, one of the guys on the IMEC board with me. So yeah, it's starting to get out there. And yeah, as far as meeting in person, we're trying to do that, but we're just kind of keeping an eye on things, I think.
Yeah, I hear you. What's it like over in Oklahoma, man? Are y'all doing like the mask thing, or is it just more like, what I would be like in Oklahoma, and like, oh, hell no, I ain't wearing no mask. What's going on?
Let's see. Yeah, if you go into maybe a bank or I don't know, like you're fine at like Walmart or Quick Trip or any place like that. Nobody says anything to you. A lot of people are wearing them. It's I wore one into Target. I noticed that like people are less judgmental if you like wear it and have it pulled down. Just as long as you have it, they don't seem to care. It's like, oh, you're part of the mask team. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll just kind of have it there. If somebody's right by me, I can pull it up, and if they look like they're nervous or something, But yeah, if I do wear it, I only wear it if I'm right around somebody. Other than that, I pull it down. I got to get fresh air, man.
So I got to ask you, unbiased and on the fence, man, do you believe COVID's real?
It's definitely not how they portray it. You know what? If you look at the CDC's actual numbers on it, the number of deaths, this is official numbers for all the people that only trust, mainstream. The CDC numbers say only 6% of those who have died of CV died from it alone. I mean, so 94% of those who have died, it wasn't CV alone. It was something else along with CV, or some of them were even on hospice. And it's just really strange the way they've tilted the numbers, but they're there for anybody that wants to see it. It says 6%. So, we've reached this mile marker of 400,000 Americans, and you take 6,000 for each one of those 100,000, and we've only lost 24,000 to CV alone. So I think there's something there, but I don't think it's, they've really blown it out of proportion. So that's my unbiased, objective point of view.
I mean, you should look at? You should look at the numbers of people who just die of normal fucking deaths back before COVID. Because think about it. Okay, this is just my hypothesis here, my theory, I should say. Mm-hmm. My theory is, if it's just like anything else, okay, because if you look at Wuhan's fully opened again, and they were ground zero. They're fully open. They're rocking and rolling. But yet here we are. But here we are, where this democratic state, not that there's anything wrong with Democrats, but in this side, they're more about the panic. I feel like they're more about the fear, the control on that side. And I'm not a Republican either. I'm an independent, but I don't even vote or give a shit about that anymore. The thing is, I see we're just a state away, and we're in this color-coded thing. If it was as serious as they're portraying it to be, how could it just be one state is doing the color-coded thing and locking down shit, and making people quarantine, and then the state right next to it isn't. But yet we can travel to the state.
Yeah, okay, Texas is like all good, I think.
The biggest one that gets me out of all of it, and some of it is just, there's two of them, is, okay, so you're telling me we can go sit down in this restaurant, but I need to wear the mask from the door to the table, and then I can take the mask off.
Right.
What? So there's just these really weird, obvious moments that I've come across. It just seems like it's really tricky. So then what I just try to learn, and I started learning about Joe Dispenza stuff, and Joe Dispenza stuff, he crushes it, man. I mean, this is a guy that healed his own body through his mind, through his thoughts, and how he did it. So I think about it on that level too. Now, what if you could open it, and I'm not saying this is the truth, I like to just play with the idea. What if, with all viruses, there wasn't really an actual virus? There wasn't an actual thing that penetrated your skin, or if it was in your body, that they could actually, through the power of manipulating through television, through other people's fear, what that might be, through pictures of what something could look like, what the symptoms may be. Oh my God, look at all these people, anything that, if you've seen from Wuhan, if nobody was in Wuhan, if not one person in the United States was actually in Wuhan, how do you know that's the truth? Right. Because you can fake videos so easy. The moon landing, you don't think they can fake a pandemic in another country?
Oh, yeah.
It's so, it can just be all played for the mind to create something. And then they pad the numbers of people who just come in with, I don't know, maybe they had pneumonia, right? Or they have bad respiratory system because they're smoking, or they have a diabetes, but then they die and they might have had a cough at the end. For some reason, even seeing these doctors that are willing to get their whole PhD ripped from them are saying that they're padding numbers, that the person who died from it, like they came in, they had, they tested positive for COVID, but they died in a car wreck. They still said died from COVID. Right. So I don't know. I think it's a play on the psyche. It's just like everything is a play on the psyche. If the whole game is playing on your psyche ability to keep you away from just being your badass divine God self.
Yeah.
And if you can manipulate the mind, it's been proven. You could say these symptoms, and all of a sudden, like, if you have these symptoms, please see the doc. Oh my God, I do have oh my God, I feel that in my chest. Oh my God, get the car. We got to go, Yeah. So you can do this to yourself very well. And, anybody can do anything right now. They can make themselves break out in hives if you panic as much. You can cause yourself to have a full-blown respiratory, go yourself into shock because you can panic so much. So you can do a lot with your mind. And I think if there's enough TV, if there's enough magazines and newspapers, and then people are on board and believe it, and that's how you just basically manifest it into something that, oh my God, my lungs, I did have COVID. Well, maybe. Who said? Did you see it under a microscope? Have you seen this? Did you see your own stuff? Like, these people, I don't get it. You got to stick a huge Q-tip up like the center of your nostril, but yet I can't blow my nose in a clean, sterile gauze, and you can get the same result. You've got to stick something so far up my nose. Come on, man.
Oh, did you hear about the new one, man? You're not going to believe this one. I couldn't believe it until I saw the article. This is true, though. I'm not joking here. You guys can look it up. They've come up with a new, more accurate test, and it's way quicker in China, and it's an anal swab. They're wanting to probe people in the butt for a quicker test. Now, I think it's a psychological thing. Yeah, an anal swab.
Are you messing with me right
No,
now?
no,
Shane?
no. Go look it up, man. China, yeah. So, you know,
Yeah.
and I think it's a psychological thing, like you were saying, because if, you know, once people think about that, then like all of a sudden it doesn't sound so bad to stick a Q-tip up to your brain, right? You're like, well, I'd rather do the lung test. Yeah.
There's the psych. That's the psych game. Let me make it feel like it's all you got to do is keep playing your mind to never have a thought of your own. Oh, we better go with this. Oh, hey, they're doing it in the butt in China, so be glad that you're getting it up the nose. Oh, man, maybe you're right. Yeah, I'll get the test. You're fine. Yeah, nope. Next. What other mind game they want to pull? I mean, it's all bullshit.
It's like the 2-mask thing, you know?
Come on, man. You got to be kidding me with that.
It's
And
so
that's why
funny.
I tested the waters.
It's so funny with the 2-mask thing. I heard them, their excuse was, well, Cuomo said it makes sense. And it's like, I don't know. It's just funny. It's I don't know. 2 masks?
You said two masks? Oh, man.
Wearing
Dude.
2 masks. Yeah. So here's the thing. They get you to wear these masks around, then they tell you one of the symptoms is you feel like you can't breathe and stuff. So now people are like, I kind of feel like I can't breathe. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, man. It's a psychological game. And I think, you know, once you realize it, you can wake up to it. And then, you know, if you don't pull away from it, then you start to be disturbed that no one else sees it, you know, and that's another trap, you know?
That's right. That's right, man. I'll tell you what. Either way you see it, I'm here, man. I'm in the thick of it. As far as like I'm going through it just like everybody else is. And it's wild that we chose this time to come into this world, if that is a true thing, to experience this. So clearly, you know, you have moments of just really awesome, incredible energy that's flowing through you. So if you're experiencing that through this time, you're definitely going the where you want to be. What you're seeking is definitely seeking you. So, you know, use this time as your greatest teacher.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I found a Business Insider article. It says China's plan for anal swabs to test for COVID-19 is not nice, but it's the obvious thing to do, says a microbiology professor. Now, the picture that they used here, they're doing a mouth swab, so I'm glad they didn't get a matching image. But yeah, right there, man. Just so you guys know, in case it disappears, you know, I'm not lying. There it is.
And what's funny is like, what do they tell you if you do test positive? They can't force you to stay home. They just tell you need a quarantine for 14 days. And you can be like, okay. And then you just go out. Like it's all bullshit, man. Like now they use that. They may use it like, oh, that's why we need martial law. Like no, it's just COVID's going to be over this year. Now these vaccines, that's the play. To me, that's going to be another thing to cause you to go into a place of, I'm not getting a vaccine, fuck that. Just let it be what it is. They're not going to ever force us to take vaccines because if they push their luck, there's a whole army of American citizens right now armed up, ready to go for Biden to fuck up. So they're going to be walking on their tippy toes for a little while. And we just got to learn how to be smarter and play smarter.
It's comical, but yeah, I can see people getting a little bit disturbed by that. But, you know, we were just talking, you know, unless they're knocking at your door, I wouldn't worry about it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing, you know,
Exactly.
and it'd never get to that point. Does it ever get to that point? I mean, think about the stuff the people that worry about stuff. I don't worry about stuff very much, but for the people that worry about things a lot, it's like over 99% of the things they worry about never even come into fruition, you know, and it's like all that time spent worrying about, you know, whatever it is, you know.
What is the acronym for fear? False evidence appearing real.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've heard that one. I couldn't remember.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're fearing out, if you feel that fear, your mind is projecting something that's not even happening or hasn't even occurred or will not ever, may not even actually happen.
Right.
And you could be thinking about the future. Oh my God, thinking about the future. Oh shit, no, now I'm thinking about the past. Oh shit, now I'm thinking about the future. No.
But I almost feel like with the energies, manifestations happening quicker, and I think we really need to get our thoughts in check, and really focus on what we want, because things are starting to come about. So where I said 99% of the things we worry about, maybe that's dropping at this point, and we need to just let that stuff go and realize that, I don't know, there is a divine plan. We're all on our path, we're all doing our journey, and it is about the journey or the dance, like we were talking about, and to be in this moment, because like your friend said, it's happening. I love that. It's happening.
It is, man. And here's the thing. What's really cool about the whole journey thing, if you look at it, if you came here to experience God, and if you were to view time and your journey as God, that is the God, is the time. It's what happens from the beginning to your destiny, to your end or whatever. That time is what God is. It's the experience of growth, expansion, learning how to be better, giving,
Yeah.
That's you. You know what I mean? And that finds a beautiful essence that things are manifesting and things are starting to unfold. This is the year of abundance of surprises, of things that you're worthy of.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to tell yourself you're worthy.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I'm expecting lots of great things. Each year has been better than the last, at least for the last few years for me, as I began to wake up to everything. And I don't know, man, because at the end of the day, we control our experience here. I mean, people can argue that we don't create our own reality, but we create our own experience of our reality. That's for sure. It's at the end of the day, it's how we decide to experience it. And that really is a liberating thing once you realize it. You're like, wow, it doesn't depend on anyone else. I can be in that peace and bliss anytime that I take the time to do that and to breathe it in, center myself,
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right, man. There's nothing wrong with having an experience of being in a sad place. There's nothing wrong with being in a place of being angry, frustrated. You're pissed off because somebody. Be pissed off, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like we hide that we're these star beings, right? We're these light workers, or we're these graces of God. But damn it, if you don't own up that you can't be okay with being pissed off, because sometimes it's just not working. But just not letting it take you over. Just be with it. You don't want to be reactionary to somebody.
Yeah.
But just own up with what's going on in life and turn this into your finest hour. Make it about you again,
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's great information. And actually they're asking, what's your dog's name again? Bubba or something?
My dog? No, Buck. Bubba. God, do you think I'm that right?
He's from Oklahoma, man. I don't know. Buck. Okay, that's better.
Well,
I put your picture up on the screen so people see you. So people love the dog. So chat. I can't read the chat.
Yeah.
People are saying thanks for coming on and stuff. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Susan and Sherry.
It's been a great ride.
Yeah, man, we got to do this a little more often, man. Keep us up to date on what's going on. Once a year just ain't quite enough.
It's really if we were to, it's really neat watching probably the archives of how we both grown, how things have changed from the first time we met in Sedona.
Yeah, man.
To hearing our life and checking in with ourselves, man. That's what we're doing. We're just checking with ourselves, making sure we're still kicking ass, and we still are. So I love you all, man, and keep rocking it. Step it up.
Right
So
on,
let's
brother.
bring it home, huh?
Yeah, man. I love you too, man. I really appreciate all that you do, and I can always feel that high vibe energy coming off you whenever we talk. Just, it's got to be great out doing what you're doing,
Oh, yeah, living it. I'm pushing. I'm trying to build new work. Y'all can come out and help at any time. Just hit me up, man. Shane has my email.
That's right, you guys. So, yeah, get a hold of me, and I can get you in touch with Kerry. And if somebody's interested, or you're not interested in selling your rig there, or you're gonna keep them both?
I mean, hey, no. I mean, dude, I like I said, I'm open ended. I don't hold on to anything. So if there is somebody that would like to take a look and check it out, it's a mini apartment on wheels, man. It's incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's quite something. But if they want to buy it, hey, it's all about change. So.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, lots of love, light, and unity to you on your journey out there, and always appreciate you taking the time to talk, and thank you guys for joining us today and in the chat. We got a few dozen people in here, so hanging out with us.
Nice.
All right,
love y'all, man. You know what I mean?
All right. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.